Hello everybody and welcome to today's vlog. It is 4 a.m. in the morning and you know I like to study early morning, late night. I do get my rest. I go to sleep at like 6:30, 7 o'clock and then I wake up and I study. That has been my official routine. Today's video we are on evidence and it's actually crazy because I was very afraid to tackle evidence, but I have not been hating it, and if anything I've been getting a lot of the questions right. I'm like, Naya, you sure you don't like evidence? Be for real. But I just want to show you what it's like to go through a subject that you struggled with. And I will say, the good thing about Barbri and getting a different professor is you get to learn a different way and everything will be clear. So if you didn't understand the way your professor taught, when you go on Barbri to watch your videos, you should get a better understanding because they really do try to teach you so straightforward, so black and white, so simple. So a lot of concepts will make sense. You might still struggle with some material that you just have a hard time grasping, but that's where practice comes in. I also want to say I've been getting better at Adaptibar questions. The facts don't bother me anymore. I haven't been printing out my packets, which I will continue to do later, but I just been doing Adaptibar questions because I've been focused on other things you guys are going to see in this video today. But it just lets me know that practice will really train your brain. And I feel like the biggest issue was that I wasn't used to doing multiple choice questions and used to that kind of structure of multiple choice. Now I'm kind of catching my flow because even after I move on from a different subject, if I don't have a packet I go over, I still understand what the question is asking me now. So I feel like I understand the facts. And if I do get a question wrong, it's because I didn't realize it could be applied in that way, or I couldn't remember the exact element of a rule. Sometimes it'll be like one specific element they want to know and you're like, I know the overall concept, but I don't know this one element. But I've been doing Adaptibar basically every day. I switched from doing like keeping towards crim law, civ procedure, and just mixing it with my questions. And since I'm on a subject I know that I said earlier I struggled with, which is evidence, I've just been waking up and doing 20 evidence questions every day, sometimes more, because I want to make sure that I'm seeing everything that I get wrong and that I'm giving myself a foundation. So I switched from like just kind of mixing everything into like sticking on a subject and its questions. If I have time on Sundays, I'll go back, but right now my Sundays are mixed with doing essay building. We'll talk about that later in the video. But I've been switching it up a little bit. I still like my old routine. It's gonna be kept. It's just that I'm catching up on other things to make sure that later down the line of studying, it's just review and not learning. I want to make sure I'm just reviewing. So I've been doing things a little bit differently, but I still be printing out packets, still be mixing subjects later down the line. It's just I'm in my areas that I don't have the best record with. Sprinkle. But honestly, evidence is not that bad. And I will say that the questions to answer evidence are easier, even if you think the material was hard. So if you struggle with evidence in law school, just know when you go through your program video, they break it down better. And just know also that the questions are more simple to determine. But I still recommend taking evidence as a class, not because of the hardness of the questions when you get to the MBE portion of the bar, but because you really want to have an understanding of what everything means, even if you're confused, because it'll make more sense when you get to the bar program. Like all your misunderstandings will start to be straightened out, and it'll just be a matter of you getting the rule and knowing how to answer properly on a question. So yeah, stay tuned in this video because I have a lot of tips to share you guys. I literally have a bunch of notes, but right now I want to hop into starting my Barbri program because I have way more videos to do today, and that's something else I do. Every time I finish my program, I go look to see how much I have to do the next day, and then I'm like, now you need to get up today because you have a lot of videos to watch. Watching videos is like my hardest part to sit through because I just don't like sitting down for a long time, which is why I do it first thing in the morning, first thing when I wake up. I don't make my excuses. I just get up, take a shower, wake myself up, and go sit down because I know that the later it gets during the day, the less I'm going to want to sit. So I do it immediately. That way I can focus on practice throughout the day and getting further in my bar prep structure. So right now we're going to watch Barbri, and then I'm going to give you guys an update on a bunch of tips, but stay tuned. Okay, you guys, my program started off with some questions and I got 6 out of 8, right? Which is a 75%. And I'm not mad at that. I'm not, because evidence was like really a struggle class for me. But like after doing Barbri's program, it's not even one of my lower scoring subjects. Like I'm so confused even when I moved to Adaptibar. But now we're gonna get into the video portion. I will say the thing with evidence and why I really recommend that you take that class is that even though the material is light and very understandable in the course, it is still heavy. Like you're gonna jump from impeachment to hearsay to exceptions all in a couple days, and you're sitting there for hours going through heavy topics. And like oftentimes I find during evidence lectures, it's the most I ever pause. Like I love to pause, 5-minute break, let it sit in my head. And it's not that the material is hard, it's just a lot. It's a lot. And that pre-exposure to evidence will mentally help with the intaking of material, because instead of worrying about like remembering what hearsay is or XYZ, it's more like you're just trying to keep it fresh in your head because you have an understanding already, but you're trying to pull the rules out. Because the thing with some of these multiple choice questions is like, okay, if you know the idea of certain rules, you will get by. But if you want most of your points, it comes down to the element. Like some will be like assuming that you already know the rule, and then it'll be like, did you have to lay a foundation? How did you have to lay the foundation for this rule? So it's already assuming you know the rule sometimes. Now it's asking specifics about the rule. So instead of learning about the rule and then trying to catch the specifics, you're just learning about the specifics when you go through this material. But something else I will say, this is why you need to do your rule statement paper, because it will be your catch-all. And then when you do future questions, you already know the rule and you can look at your rule, just keep getting in your head. With Professor Reynolds' sheet, that's what I'll be using in the future, and keep it in a binder. Oh, and something else I want to say is that some multiple choice questions, this is not like college or law school where you see that 3 answers say yes and 1 question says no, so you think the answer is yes. Baby, that answer will be the no. So don't even look at the multiple choice questions to be like, oh, it all has yes but this one. That must mean that no is not the answer. No, they really want to know if you understand the rule. That's what I'm saying. This multiple choice thing is a skill. You either know the rule or you don't. It's just that simple, because they will have 3 yeses and 1 no, and you would think that yes is the answer and no is. Now, that's not the case all the time, but I noticed that in a decent amount of multiple choice questions. So I would just say they're really banking on you to know knowledge, know the law. And like I always say, like even in the multiple choice questions, they will misstate the law or have the accurate law, but then come to the wrong conclusion. So it's really testing your knowledge. Okay, you guys, this time I got 6 out of 8, or did I get 6 out of 8 last time too? I don't even remember. But I don't even know why I'm sharing my scores today, but it's only because I want to tell you that means nothing, because I can forget right after this and then I won't know. It's about repetition. Repetition is what keeps this alive in your head, not getting a good score one time or a decent score one time. So I don't really put too much weight on my scores. Some people, this is why they tell you don't share your Adaptibar scores, or your friends might be like, I'm getting 90%, this and that. My number one question to them would be, well, are you just doing the subjects you're great at, or are you doing the subjects you struggle at? And then are you doing it repetitively every day? How many questions are you doing? Like scores don't matter. What matters is learning from your mistakes and actively doing it every day and doing a lot of practice questions. That's the only thing that matters. I don't care about your score. I care about if you are practicing and acknowledging why your answer was wrong or right. Because you can get the most questions wrong during Adaptibar, but if you were noting everything you got wrong and taking it in and really understanding, exam day, you can get all of them right. Meanwhile, the person who's getting them right in that moment could be getting them wrong because they never took the time to review and keep that repetition. So yeah, today's actually like a heavier Barbri video day, and I already knew that today. It's gonna be a lot of me going through Barbri. My plan though, since I wake up early, was to at least get to this video before I leave the library, and then watch these 2 videos in the library. And then this is 25 multiple choice questions from Barbri. The good thing is I did 20 questions earlier this morning, so this 25 will be 40. And I would have done my Adaptibar and my quote unquote multiple choice questions for today. And then I would have finished my program. And then the next thing I would have to do is something towards my essay. If you watch my videos, you know I do something towards questions and something towards my essay. But right now what I'm doing for my essay is a little bit different. And that's what we're gonna talk about later. Right now I'm gonna finish my next video, and then we're gonna go to the library, we're gonna finish out the videos, and then I'll probably start the vlog again when I start my questions, and then when I move on to the new things for my essay. We'll see. See you guys soon.
Like damn, she in her mood. Like damn, she in her mood. Like damn, she in her.
Do me a favor, call me jerk one more time. You're a jerk, I know. You're a jerk, I know. You're a jerk, I know. You're a jerk, 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 jerk.
Like damn, she in her mood. She lit, your money too. Like damn, she in her mood. In the mirror, I'm doing my dance. Ain't packing out nobody's pants. He a rapper, but don't got a chance. Sucking my waist, so I'm loving my bands. Like 1 million views in a day. There's so many ways to get paid. I tried dipping, he begged me to stay.
Okay guys, as you can see I'm at the library, but I'm about to go get some food because I'm still in this module, which ended up being Florida distinctions. And then I'm gonna go get a snack because I only have 20 minutes left. I need a break, and then I need to still do questions and do what I was gonna do next. But today's turning into a longer day because I did not realize these Florida distinction videos were gonna take me out like this. I feel not overwhelmed, but just attacked with information, and I'm gonna talk about how Barbri did the Florida distinctions and how I feel about it. I don't know if I want a BMT, a spicy Italian, or like a Philly, chicken Philly, a steak Philly. Okay, you guys, so I just got some food and I can immediately tell the difference in my mood. I feel like I'm not in the greatest mood right now because I did not expect to be studying Barbri this long. The reason why I wake up so early every day is because I hate sitting down. Like, it's not a joke. Like, I hate sitting down for real. And it's already 2:19, I'm still sitting down, and normally I'm like done with my program by like 10 a.m., 8 a.m., 9 a.m. So this is a very different kind of day for me. I have 20 more minutes of my Florida distinctions video. I feel like I underestimated how long it was gonna take me. And truthfully, the reason why I also went with Barbri is because like they said that the Florida distinctions were separate from the MBE stuff, and you know, I'm very like plain brain. Teach me one rule, then teach me a separate rule. But for the Florida, they're like comparing MBE and FBE rules together, and that's just not how I think. Like, I went through the MBE course for evidence. Just teach me Florida. Like, I would have appreciated just getting the Florida laws, learning Florida rules, and keeping that in my head. I feel like it makes sense in theory to be like, okay, MBE compared to Florida, but when you're really just learning rules again and they're fresh, and you're telling me an opposite rule, it's like kind of just like loosening that foundation. I feel like if it was just an MBE video and then the Florida distinctions without comparison, it would have been way smoother to go through. But at the same time, as I got my food, I'm taking a step back. I don't feel like it's as terrible as I feel right now, because looking at it, it's just like small, minute, different rules. Like, okay, MBE does this, but Florida does this. And it's not even for everything. It's just for like some things are different topics, like how present sense impression is an MBE and Florida calls it surprise something or something like that. That's not accurate, but I'm just saying. So it's not like the biggest deal, but I just wish it would have went in order of like what's different in Florida and just kept it at Florida and not MBE. But I know that would probably help somebody who thinks differently than me, so I'm not mad at it. Or if they're gonna like mix them together, I wish they would have provided like a chart instead of like just book form of the differences, but like a chart, like here say for Florida, here say for MBE, and just kept it so organized. I don't like that it's so mixed together. I feel like, you know, these are distinctions at the end of the day, so they should be distinct from each other in like a clear comparison. Or like if you're gonna teach it at once like that, I say like provide outlines of charts of differences so that we can keep it separate, not go back and have to detangle the concept. But like I said, like it's minor things, it's not a whole bunch, so it's not that terrible. I feel like I just gotta take a step back and see what's so different from which things and just keep that in my head separately. If you didn't take evidence, that might just throw you off completely, because it's like you just learned evidence, now you're learning something completely different. But I will say they said that the difference between Themis and Barbri was that Barbri teaches Florida distinction separately. So if Themis is like that throughout the whole video, I am so glad I went with Barbri, because this like 2 videos was starting to make me mad. So that's good that I went with Barbri, because I don't like this. Again, it's taught very straightforward. I just wish that it was only focused on Florida, but that just might be my learning style, and that could help somebody else like you. But if you get confused or you feel like it's undermining your learning, what I will say is like you just need to create like a Florida outline. Like I have Florida outlines of just Florida rules, but they're like not descriptive enough. So you might need to write out an outline for Florida evidence, and you might need to do that for Florida Civ Pro to keep it separate if you need it separate in your head. But yeah, and it won't be that long, because one video was 50 minutes, the other was 30 minutes, just an hour and 30 minutes of different distinctions, which that also includes MBE stuff, so you know it won't be that long if you're only writing Florida law down. I just did a couple of things during that to try to survive my mental burnout. I started with like getting one of my best outlines for Florida that I realized and then just writing extra notes. Then that was starting to become too much on a page, so I switched to writing out like some extra notes on an outline kind of, and then that got too much for my brain. So the last 20 minutes I'm kind of just vibing and like paying attention to Florida in my book and highlighting Florida, and luckily it's on a topic I'm strong in, which is like excited utterance, present sense impression, things like that. So I'm like good because I already know those definitions by heart. So that's kind of how I'm ending out my video, but that was a lot. That almost took me out, and now you guys see what it looks like when I am kind of stressed out a little bit, because I was catching my flow very deeply with the other videos and I don't feel like I was stumped like how I am today. But we're about to push through. I only have 20 minutes left. The food I feel like is gonna wake me up. I haven't really ate. That's the other thing. I didn't really eat today, and that probably is impacting me. So we got lunch. We're about to go eat. Our BMT is what I got. We're probably gonna watch the Avatar while I eat a little bit, and then we're gonna jump back in that video. See you guys soon. This is what I got. Plus a chocolate chip cookie to cheer me up. This vlog is gonna be like you guys seeing me get through a day where I just wanna go home and relax now, but instead we're gonna push through. This is an example how all the answer choices will be no, 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 and the correct answer is the one that looks different. That's what I'm saying. This exam, it's not made to psych you out, it's made to know if you know the answer. Trust your gut on multiple choice. Do these 25 evidence questions with me. Made a lane and niggas can't get over. I can't mess with rappers, they be bogus. Rather get the pack and keep it open. Big triple stand up in the ocean. Everybody trapping, we get lost. Okay, you guys, we finished our Barbri program for the day, and at night I'm just gonna sit down and do my 25 questions because my brain isn't sharp right now. I'm going to do something that I've been doing recently, which is writing out my essays. I have gotten very far with this. It does drain me writing out these flashcards. My bar prep coach told me not to do it because flashcards is a lot, but it's been the secret sauce for my law school essays for the whole 3 years of law school, so I don't feel like I should change now because I realized that when I review my outlines, I remember the overall rules, but I lose the specifics through time. Flashcards is the only thing that keeps something in my head, so I've been writing out all my essays. I'm on UCC for the contracts, and basically my goal is to have every paragraph written down and memorized so that when the exam comes, it's more like just in my head. I'm gonna finish writing the last 2 pages of the UCC contracts version, and then I'm gonna show you what I've been cooking up in my house. And instead of reading an essay, I've just been writing out rule statements for the past like 5 days. And I'm almost done basically already. So it's working. And then right after this, I'll be going back to reading essays and just reviewing my topics day by day. And I feel like that will help me start being able to write good paragraphs when I do my practice on Barbri. And plus when I start like printing out my Florida Bar Examiner paragraphs too, I'm gonna start writing out essays on there. But I need to make sure I have the rule in my head. Like I agree with Barbri, like practice writing out essays, but at the same time, how can your essay really be good without knowing the rule statements in the back of your head? Something else I want to say is that I notice where people go wrong with the rule statements, because I've been looking at the rule statements for some of these outlines I have, and it'll be like, for example, constitutional law, it'll be like a person needs standing to bring a claim forward, and it must be redressed, and it must have causation, something like that. It must not be moot, and it can't be rape. But you guys aren't explaining those elements. Like when I write a rule statements, I have those elements break down in my paragraph so that when I go to write my analysis, I'm not doing no thinking. You told yourself to remember those words, you gonna remember those words. Unless like, you know what standing is just based off hearing the word, but that's not me, and I hate giving myself extra work. So one thing I do is I do all the heavy lifting with the rule, and then my analysis is so smooth. But I have been noticing in a lot of these like essay paragraphs, a lot of people just write the rule directly, and then they're kind of explaining the rule in the analysis when I just tie my facts to the rule in my analysis versus writing more explanation of the rule while I'm writing the analysis. So if it's easier on you, break down your elements in your rule statements. That way your analysis can be easier. But we're gonna finish writing out these contracts. Flashcards. Today was definitely a long day. But I mean, I'm still ending at 3 o'clock, but like, it was too long for me, y'all. Way too long. Okay, you guys, this is just me showing you guys all the essays I have written out so far. These 4 came from the rule statements the attorney gave me. The one I'm writing, the 5th one is the rule statements. This is like my ones that I did previously when I was doing what's the issue, but we gonna see where I get to today. Hello everybody, clearly I am home. I just want to X out this video. As you can see, today was a rough day for me, which is very surprising because I thought today was going to be like simple. I was moving through evidence, I was finally understanding it, and then boom. I was hit with the curveball, but I'm actually glad you guys saw me be frustrated in 4K because I want to show that this journey is not about perfection, but struggling days, rough days, days where you're frustrated, and this was honestly my first real frustrating day, and I'm kind of glad I went through that on camera. It's not something I planned for actually, but it's just proof to show, push through whatever you're going through in those moments. You're gonna have your hard days. Today was mine. And you know, this is just my sign to relax a little bit and get some good sleep tonight and not burn myself out. I wanted to end off by reading all the tips I told you guys I was going to read to you about evidence. Sprinkle, sprinkle. And I used to really struggle with evidence, and let me tell you guys how I understand evidence now. So basically, hearsay is not admissible because you're offering it for the truth of the matter asserted. And I used to get so confused by that because I'm like, what do you mean you don't want to hear the truth? But basically, your trial is supposed to prove the truth, not people's statements, not what you're saying, plaintiff or defendant, because they're both going to say their side. So basically, whatever's admitted is not being offered for the truth, it's being proven for another reason, even if it does sound like the truth. Like, it could be like Gabby ran the red light, and then at trial, Nick testified that Gabby didn't run the red light, but Nick texted his friend 5 days later saying that Gabby ran the red light and he lied. That would be offered into the court, even though it sounds like hearsay because it sounds like you're offering for the truth, but it's offering it to show that Nick lied, even though the truth is coming in, but it's not coming for the purpose of the truth. It's coming in for the purpose of showing Nick and his mentality of lying. And that might have not been a real example because normally I give you guys examples from my actual course, but mentally I'm just not there right now, so I try to just explain it in simple terms. Sorry if that's inaccurate, not 100%, but just trying to give you guys a taste of evidence, and like that's the overall concept. So everything that can come in is basically not being offered for the truth, it's being offered for another reason, for an exception or X, Y, and Z. So here is my tips. We're gonna get straight to it. Okay, so tip number 1 is once you start recognizing fact patterns, you will get better at multiple choice the more you practice. The beginning was rough for me because I barely did multiple choice, but like I said earlier, I finally have a bar taker's mindset on multiple choice, and I'm getting better at understanding the facts. It's just at this point knowing the rule, and that's where I'll use Professor Randall's sheet. My next statement is I like Barbri because during your module, it'll do a lot of hypotheticals during your course, and so you'll learn a rule and then apply it shortly right after that to make sure you really understand. So you do a lot of questions within your course and then questions when you leave your video, and then on top of that, your Adaptibar. So it's a lot of questions integrated in your course. Your course really does have your back. Like, it's going to make you write random essays sometimes. It's going to bring you back to old topics. It's going to mix questions together. So it's going to make sure everything is staying fresh in your head. When I get questions from Adaptibar, right, sometimes it's based on the questions and the hypos I did in my Barbri program. I just want to really tell you guys to take your time with your weaker subjects and really do a lot of multiple choice questions with that so you can get better. And one thing I wrote down was that all of these questions, all of these things towards contracts, property, crim law, crim pro, you're not going to remember these rules verbatim by heart anymore, but you will remember the fact patterns and your answer choices if you do them enough. So if you forget your rules, that's where your rule sheet comes in, and you just always kind of have it there, and those rules will stick in your head. But when you do enough practice questions, you'll start getting familiar with the fact patterns. There's only so many ways to could really test you. And don't worry, Professor Randall said you'll be writing a lot of rule downs in the beginning, but slowly you'll be having a lot of rules that you won't be writing down no more. So this was my day today. Very drained, y'all. Very drained. Rough day, but we're going to wake up tomorrow and get it.
I got 6 jobs. I don't get tired. I don't get tired.
It's like 6 p.m. right now. I am honestly going to go to sleep soon. I am exhausted. My head literally hurts. I don't know why today was so rough. Like, I do know why. Again, with the Florida distinctions, I feel like I just needed to have my moment of crashing out. But I'm better now. Like, it really wasn't that terrible, but it was rough in that moment. I really have a momentum when I just sit down. I just didn't have a momentum today, but this is your sign that not every day will be your momentum day. So yeah, And I just need to make sure I practice Florida evidence questions, which I might look at my Florida law book to do that. And I want to see if my Florida law book just has Florida evidence. We'll see. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. This is just me making a bar prep series because I remember always asking people about bar prep and no one could give me answers. And I don't want you to go in blind. I want you to be familiar with the course. I want you to see what it looks like, know what you need to do, and you pull what you need from this and take what you can from me. But this is an individual journey. But if something resonates, take it. Thank you guys so much for watching. I want you to comment something that you liked about this video, or if you took the bar, comment something that helped you pass the bar. Legally, Naya. Legally, Naya. Sorry for being moody today. Bye.